Yamazaki, I've not seen you in forever. Pinobee and Phoebe. Well, the first game was awesome enough, so let's see how the sequel fares. So yeah, first Pinobee was pretty damn cool. Now we actually know that Pinobee is a robot bee. We know that right off the bat. It is not going to take us by surprise this time. Okay, new game. What do we got? We got Japanese text. And we do not have a translation. Oh, Grandpa Bee and Pinobee with some kind of vision of Phoebe for some reason. Well, hitting buttons is not progressing us any faster, so let's just sort of sit back and enjoy the ride. Well, Phoebe broke out of, I guess, the thing that was containing her for presumably reasons that were explained in the text on screen. Yeah, some kind of evil robot bee monstrosity in a half leather jacket and giant boots. And he stole something from Phoebe, I think. Or broke out of her. Oh, is Pinobee giving her his heart? The one that we actually managed to obtain at the end of the last game? Come along. Oh hey, he does mention heart. So I guess that is basically the gist of it. Okay, so Phoebe is alive again with Pinobee's heart. But Pinobee is back to being a robot bee in need of, you know, with no heart, he has no emotions, no real sense of right or wrong. All that Pinocchio type hoo-ha. So, some Hakase Forest, I think that is. Let me double check. Hakase is doctorate or PhD, so I guess like scholars. No, scholar's house. Okay. So I guess that would be Grandpa's house. Into things, looking for crystals and those little markers. Now then, we have something to do with flowers and Poyoyon Muda. What's a Muda? Ah, village. Let's go to Poyoyon Village. First stage, second stage, third stage, fourth stage, and a thing. We'll play as Pinobee. Wow. So we have a much more... and doing that is using up our flowers, so try to avoid that for the time being. Okay, so we can still kill things by bouncing on them. Oh, so it's a switch chamber. Good to know. I'll have to figure out what exactly the differences are between the two characters. Alright, that will be a thing. This new keyboard does not have the same shift and enter getting stuck problems as the old one did. It has its own set of problems in that it can do upright and A, but it can't do up left and A. So I don't know, I will have to like fiddle with my controls or something. So then, looks like Mr. Evil Bee has himself an army and quite the set of hardware. And what's in the cannon? Oh. Yes. Okay, so cannons are still much the same in that they will shoot you in a given direction. That's annoying. Let's see if we can't... Oh, we got a CD. Sure, that's a valuable thing. Now, the last game had all sorts of, ooh, bouncy thingies. All sorts of cards to collect. So I'm not sure if this one will as well. I was unable to find an FAQ or a walkthrough or anything of that range. Robot. Huh. So if you lose your HP, you automatically switch. Equally good to know. And hey, we got some health back. So we can make do without having to be blasted up and to the left. Now, these games are very much exploration-based. And, yeah, we do not seem to have a run button. L, R, and B all do absolutely nothing. Yeah, I nearly missed that crystal, I'm sure that's important. So that just heads backwards. As of yet, this isn't really doing much of anything to set itself apart. Oh, so Phoebe starts with two of the, little action-y boost things. Assuming that this is similar to the previous one, we will eventually find the good fairy, or whatever it was, that will give us yet more of those boosts. We have a sign there, which at the moment doesn't seem to be doing anything. None of the buttons I pressed gave me the ability to read that sign. Not that we'd understand it entirely anyway, but still. Now that seems important. How do I get down to that? Oh, there's the stage end. So yeah, let's carry on from... not from there. There has to be... well, I say there has to be a path that I missed, and yet... other thing about this game is that it is very much in the sense of, re-exploring and going back, you know, find something in a later stage and then come back here and do it all again. And then there's also the bit about, you know, getting more of these boosts. But for now, we can get that... ah, it's a heart something or other. So that would indeed be important. Did not see any golden bugs though, so I guess that is no longer a thing. And of course I didn't bother to save state before getting myself killed. I'll just pretend none of that ever happened and carry right along. And I do have to agree with that. The clank sound when you jump on a mushroom is rather weird. You know, it makes sense because he's a robot bee that he clanks, but why does he only clank when bouncing on a mushroom? Let's see, power up. What can we do to power up? Interesting. Okay, so the CDs are for that nature. Let's see. That's good to be flower increase, health increase, good to know. What's this one? Navigation. It's interesting. So I guess in this one, it's all about the CDs that you pick up, and there will be no fairies. Interesting. Now we will hold on to our CDs for the time being. Let's go to stage 2. Let's go through the village, see what we can find, and then, you know, save the rest of it for off-stream. No, that's not a thing. Aha. Yeah, the gold bug element seems to be gone from this one. Yeah, pink CD there. Yeah, and a blue one. Very nice. In the first game, every stage had at least one golden bug in it, and if you destroyed the gold bug in each level going through, you would continue to only find one golden bug per level. If you didn't destroy them going through, in each successive stage, you would find more and more and more golden bugs, so it had a sort of stemming the tide thing, preventing research kind of deal. So, you know, the more you killed, the more they had to recreate, and the less you killed, the more they built up. So I thought that was a rather nifty little aspect of the first one, which seems to be entirely absent from this one. What goes on here? And another big thing was helping people. Can we squish him? Probably not. There was numerous people in the first one that you had to help. Helping them out, you know, doing the right thing would help with the whole right versus wrong thing, and the more people you helped in the right places, the better of an ending you would get. All sorts of stuff we did not get earlier. Don't know about those boxes. What do you say? I ask as if I expect to be able to understand him. Well, I definitely don't want to hit that first bubble, so I guess that works. Something along. What did that accomplish? That accomplished all the things. Awesome. Now, this game is Pinobee and Phoebee. It is the sequel to Pinobee, Wings of Adventure, which was a launch title. Basically, your character is a robot bee created by the bee that you call Grandpa. Pretty much it is just Pinocchio with bees. Shortly after Grandpa created you, he was himself kidnapped, and, you know, he was taken away before he could build a heart for you. You can do this. Jump, and then in the correct direction. Okay, jump cut here too, with me succeeding. Of course, I say that for YouTube, and you folks have to suffer. Well, I guess that wasn't. Yeah. And yeah, nothing at all up there, so never mind, the jump cut was totally unnecessary. This is that thing I mentioned about exploration. I know there's like another 3 or 4 directions I have not explored in yet. I don't know what is in any of those directions, how much of it will be important, how much of it will be useful. And since there is no FAQ or otherwise, I don't really think I want to go through this entire game. I think it would be just a bit much. I'll just blindly wander for a little while longer, and we'll see what we can manage to find. Feels like... I don't know, were we here before? Anyways, with the first game, if you manage to do all the... Oh hey, found the exits. Did not find the heart piece, so... But yeah, if you manage to do all the good deeds, help all the people, not really get hurt yourself overly much, and you could, if you got a bad grade on the level, you could just redo the level and do things right, and get a good grade. But yeah, if you did all those things and you got the good ending, if you didn't, you got anything in a range of bad endings. I mean, it goes from your character grows fangs and becomes the neighborhood bully. There's... I think the worst ending is... I don't even remember, it's been too long since I read about it, but it's even worse than that. And then there's all sorts of middling endings, which, you know, like, you rescue your grandfather but don't really care and nothing comes of it. And then, of course, there is the best ending, which I guess is the canon ending for this particular sequel, since you do have a heart in this sequel. You rescue your grandfather, he goes to put your heart in, and realizes, hey, you already have a heart, because you grew one because you were such a good bee. And since we gave our heart to Phoebe, it looks like we get to do all those, well, not specifically the exact good deeds, but just more good deeds for people and more things of that nature as we go through these massive levels. I'm kind of hoping that we will be able to actually get to the boss of this first area without having to find all 4 of the heart pieces. I think that would be kind of a nice thing to just sort of play through up to that point. Can we get deposited? There we go. And we can at least get some kind of nice upgrade now. We can afford a dash upgrade at the very least. Hey! End of the level. Pretty nifty. Okay. No, never mind. Oh, yes. Alright, we will go with that dash upgrade, and that'll be all for now. Not gonna bother overly much with getting all of the things. That is not something I'm going to do here in the stream or otherwise. Oh yeah, that is the other thing. You can dash and then dash and hold up, and you will hover in place. So you can sort of plan out your next dash. And that becomes a bit more useful later on when, you have like 5 or 6 dashes total. And I have no idea as ever if I'm going in the right direction or not, but we are still finding new things, so seems to be doing good. Until we run into a thing that we cannot move. One thing I'm going to say is that the music in this has really not been up to the level of the music from the first game. Save points, way back there, okay. Oh, really? So that is apparently a thing. You can destroy the completely cracked blocks, but not the partially cracked ones. Yes, indeed. Kind of saw that as we rushed by. Kinda hoping that the end of the stage will come fairly soon. And that noise did almost work there. Almost seemed like we were clanking into the top of the thing there, but it was still just the same. Bouncing on the mushroom makes it go clank. And when you hit things, it makes no sound whatsoever. So the game kinda seems to have the sound effects quite backwards. And I still have no idea what exactly the purpose of those crystals is. They seem to be for something though, because it definitely mentioned them in that little opening cutscene daily. Oh hey, it's the fairy! This is the fairy in the first game that gave you the extra dashes. So she's probably kinda miffed that you have no heart anymore, since she was one of the big helpers in getting you a heart in the first place. Let's go see if we can get to the boss of this first area now. No, we cannot. It seems that it would require having all of the heart pieces. And yeah, I just would rather not go through all that. Probably no different. Let's just find out what the music in this area sounds like. It's different, but not really much better. So there's a lot of frickin' CDs out in the open. Guess you're meant to come here first, power the hell up, and then, you know, go do a lot of stuff elsewhere. And they keep mentioning Vesta, or Vesta, so I will assume that that was the, evil bee that we saw in the cutscene. Yeah, it would take ages in order to actually explore each and every one of these levels all the way through, so I think this is about good. This has been Pinobee and Phoebee. Looks like it is very sequel-y in that it goes, you know, does basically the same things as the first, but bigger and somewhat better. Not really tons and tons better. And now it's taking flowers away. I have... those are definitely flowers. Each time I dash, it takes flowers away, and when I collect flowers, it refills them. The crystals don't really have anything to do with the dash. It had other things to do with stuff. Oh hey, and there's the heart piece. Nifty. Let's see if the crystal is even here still. There we go, off screen to get the bubbles back. we go. Now the crystal is back. Oh, man, well, it refilled our health, but I don't know, I feel like it did more before than just as a health refill. Yeah, the flowers were definitely a thing in the original as well, but you could have like hundreds upon hundreds of them. So I don't know if that was just because I had upgraded so much in the first, or if you really started off with a whole lot more. And I don't think I remember it dropping one flower for each boost, but then again, I don't really remember many of the specifics of the first game whatsoever, so yeah. Once again, this has been Pinobee and Phoebee. It's been kind of interesting. It's a pretty decent sequel. If a walkthrough existed, you can be damn sure I would come back to this, but for the time being, no such thing exists. So, I guess we're done here.